Yes, yes. Let me just check that we are live. Let's check that we're live and direct. So, um, I'm just going to get YouTube up and check that you can hear the sound, check that you can hear the audio, check that you can hear everything that's going on, and then we'll get cracking. We'll have a little crack. So I tried to do this ages ago and there was no sound, which is why I just want to check now. Alright, it sounds like we've got microphone audio at the least anyway. So we'll see how we go. So I did this a while ago and I had a bad, I had no sound at all. And I thought, we'll kick off the new year and we'll have a go at trying this again. So, we're going to be making a remix. We're going to be making a remix live. And I might retitle this and I might do it part 1. And then I might come live and do like a part 2. So see how we go with the tune, essentially. I'm not going to do the same tune that I was going to do last time. Although I would still love to remix that tune. Do not get me wrong. That tune would be an absolute belter to remix. But sadly, I just could not get a clean enough vocal for it, to be honest with you. And I just, in all honesty, I just think maybe it's maybe it's one of them classics that should be left alone. However, we are going to remix a little bit of an old chart tune. So we're on FL Studio. This is not 21. This is a cracked version. Although I do want to buy 21 at some point. I'm just a little bit curious if I buy it because I've actually got cracked plugins. If them plugins would then no longer work with the cracked version, with the proper version. Or if them cracked versions would become sort of like unavailable, and then would I have to then go and buy the plugins as the legit version, if you like, obviously wouldn't work with cracked plugins. So I'm on a cracked version of FL Studio 20. It's quite a late version of 20, but it's not the latest version of 20. It's not the version before 21. All I do know is that it's like a pretty newish version, and I did upgrade to a newer version of my crack not too long back. So anyway, so the remix we're gonna do is we're gonna do a remix of David Guetta and Nicki Minaj, "Turn Me On." Now I remember this song sort of in my late years of school, so I think this was like a 2012 2013 song, and just sort of like year 10, year 11, I remember this song being over the radio and stuff, and I just remember it coming on. And one fond memory of this tune that I do have is I used to listen to a radio station called Milo Radio, and they used to play like a mixture of like new school and old school. And sadly, the radio station, for whatever reason, just stopped running. And if you go on their website now and play what's on their website, it plays a different station, which is a real shame because the station itself, it was one of my favourite ever stations to listen to. And they used to play this Nicki Minaj song at the time. I used to play it in school. If ever the teachers let us play any music while getting on with any work. So that was a little bit of a bonus there. So FL Studio is where we're going to make it. And as you can see, there's some stuff named down here. So we've got kicks, rides, hats, percussion loops, claps. We've got a reverse crash, we've got fill, kick effect, sweep up, sweep downs, snare fill, that's like a build up, so that's like a snare build up. We've got bass, we've got a gated synth, we've got plucks, we've got pads, we've got leads. So what I'm gonna do, there is sounds on here. So if I click on here where the kicks are, there is or actually on bass, but if I click on the kick, look, there is some kicks here. I'm just debating whether we're gonna change the sounds of some of them. I have sort of put some stuff together before doing this stream, but then I thought, you know what, let's just go together and let's just choose all the sounds together and take it from there. And I suppose a lot of people, they start with a breakdown, and you know, I don't like doing that. That's just my opinion, because I always think if you're starting with a track, start at the beginning and finish at the end. So the beginning of a track is an intro, and I think personally, if I start with a breakdown, I just get confused, because it's like you're starting sort of like not midway through a track, but you're starting like maybe like you know, just over a minute into the track, and I just think, you know, I like starting at the beginning, finishing at the end. So I've got a few packs on here actually. Some of them are not bounce related, so some of them you know, some of them won't be bounce related, so they won't, you know, really work. But sometimes you can go into other sample packs and you can find some other sounds that will essentially sound good. Like you can go into another pack and nick a break beat, and you could get it to work. So we're going to go into this Steve Willow sample pack volume 4. I do just want to say as a disclaimer before we do go any further, do go and check out Steve Willow's YouTube channel. He's done tutorials, he's helped me out quite a bit with production, and he makes his own sample pack. So he's done 4 volumes of a sample pack, and essentially it's banging, this one. So go ahead and check it out. So we're going to go to drum hits, and we're going to find ourselves a nice kick. So quite like the kick drum number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it over to where kick is, and we'll have kick drum 2, and then essentially it should, so that sounds quite good actually. What we're going to do now is we'll go in order, so we'll go down, kick, ride, blah blah blah. So we'll do rides next. Right, I quite like ride number 10, I'm not gonna lie. So let's go with that. And then what we'll do is we'll just sit it there nicely next to it. Actually, you can't really hear that ride. Maybe I might just turn it up ever so. Right, for whatever reason it's still put us on the kick. Oh, it's not put, right, RC what's happened here. Yeah, so there's ride. For whatever reason it didn't put us on the ride, and I couldn't hear. Oh yeah, you can hear that ride, and it was actually on this as well. You know, because if you click this and it goes orange, it'll just play the sound on its own. And we had kick selected, so even though there was no hi-hat coming through, so that doesn't sound too bad. We'll do hi-hats next. I do like a good hi-hat. So let's have a look. So some open hi-hats. I do quite like 14 actually. So let's go with 14. And again, it's kept us on. It's kept us on ride. I don't know why. Right. You can tell it's already starting to sound somewhat, you know, sort of like, yeah, you know, you can already tell there's something there, can't you? Percussion loops. Now, one thing I will say about percussion loops in in the Steve Willow pack is it is not the best. That is, if I had to find one fault with this pack, the percussion loops, there isn't too much there. So we're not actually going to go into that one, and we're going to go into this Critical Mass Sounds Volume 2. Not that one. So this one, we'll go Volume 2. We'll have a look in percussion loops here. I actually quite like that one. Not gonna lie. Oh, we've actually done it wrong. Sorry, my bad. I put the sound in without putting it on the. My bad. So we'll put it there, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna. There it is. I'm gonna put it. Am I correct? Correcte prendo. Right. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Let me just go to the brush, and then if I just fit to tempo 100 to 200, there we go. That's better. So now it should sound like, yeah, it actually sounds alright. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a nice little clap in. So as I say, these were already set up. We just had to add the sounds to them essentially, and then we've got because I did sort of play around, and then I thought, well, actually, why don't we just do it on the stream? And so I just deleted all like everything, and then just thought we can select all the sounds ourselves. But the patterns were already there, and then I thought it just saved us like re-putting the patterns back in. But I thought, yeah, let's select the sounds. Rather than say, oh, we're gonna make a tune live, but there's already a half-built track here. So let's have a listen. So I already actually quite like that. Now, what I like to do, I do it on quite a lot of tracks, and maybe I shouldn't do it on all of my tracks, because you can get into the form of a habit. But so usually with a donk tune, or like a hardcore tune even, you've got 16 bars of this, where there's just this, and then basically on 17, essentially like a bass or like a donk could come in, depending what tune you're doing. I suppose it might be similar in other genres as well. So some donks, there's like a 32 bar intro. It just varies, but a lot of the newer stuff just the quick 16 bar intro, and then on the 17 bar, essentially your bass and all that comes in. What I like to do on the 8th bar is I like to essentially just get rid of my kick, just for 1 bar, and basically it sounds like this. See, and then essentially what I'd do is I'd then bring the kick back, and then I'd bring everything back again. So all this is not like that, it's not. So all this would then essentially come back to here, like that. And now this is essentially the first part of our intro to our tune. So what I'm going to do is get this fill, and I think the fill itself, we're going to change the fill. Yeah, because I've actually used this fill before, and I like it, but when you've used it before, and yeah, there's just why use it again? Do you know what I mean? You do want to sound different, so. That one might work. We'll try it for now. The thing with a fill is you don't necessarily have to get your sound straight away. So like, you know, you can go back and change it if you're not happy. You know, you can do that with anything. You know, any sound, even if you think, oh, the kick don't sound too good. You know, you can go back and change your sound and be like, well, do you know what? I want a different kick now, or I want a different, you know, I want a different so and so. So we'll put this in, and we'll take it from there. Right, so what we can do is we can put like a sweep up in. So we're going to go back to Steve Willow for this. You know, because again, he didn't really have any good percussion loops. He has a few alright fills, but there's quite a lot more in that critical mass one. So if you know, there's like drum fills, there's quite a few here, but some of them just don't really suit the track, and I just prefer going into the other pack to find one. I've used some of them out of here before, and some of them aren't bad, but a lot of them I've just thought, you know what, I'm not too keen. So what we're going to do is go to effects. Now we need like almost like a rise, so like risers. So if we get risers here, we can either have 4 bars or 8 bars. Now obviously we want essentially, if we can, we want an 8 bar, because obviously 8, you know, 8 and 8 is 16. So obviously, you know, there's a 16 bar intro. So on the second part of the 16 bar intro, we want the rise to come up. So it's like building up, and then that bass is going to drop in. So let's have a listen, see what we fancy. Quite like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to sweep up, and we're just going to press the sweep up with that essentially. So if I go sweep up and put it here, now for whatever daft, well, that is essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So essentially that is an 8 bar. The only issue is we want the rise to end before the 8 bars. So essentially what we actually want is a 7 bar rise, and there's only 4 and 8. So what I do is I get the slice tool, and I'm going to slice this here. So I'm going to slice that, and then I'm going to get rid of that, and then I'm going to put this just to here, right to the end. I think we've just we've just gone over, look, and that's because we need to zoom right in. So if I zoom right in, here we are. So if I zoom right in, so there we go, and now that is going to end right where we want it to end. So if we have a listen now, and then you can see there we've got that. So obviously we can do a little bit more here. We could have like a little bit of a snare build if we wanted. I don't always put them in. We might add one in a little bit later on. You know, we can come back and we can fine tune things that sound a little bit flat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab the vocal. So the vocal I've got is actually someone's re-sang it, and it had like loads of instruments in the background, so I just put it through a vocal remover. I couldn't get a clear vocal of the original. It was like real bad, and this one, the sounds that they were using in the background was like real clear, so it was like quite easy to remove them. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this into FL Studio. There we go. Right, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go on to Google very quickly, and I just want to find out essentially, actually I can find out another way as well. I just want to find out the BPM of the track. So and there's a website here that is not the best website, but it's not the worst either. And it had an acapella on here, and I could have downloaded it, but it required a pro version. But what I like about this site, it's called voclr.it, and it's got acapellas on here. And when you click on an acapella before you like want to download it, it says requires pro, but it'll tell you the key it's in, it'll tell you the BPM, it'll tell you the quality, and it'll tell you the genre. So this is dance pop, and the BPM is 128. So all my only issue is, all I'm hoping for is that the vocal that I've got, which is a re-sang one, it's a cover, I'm hoping that, you know, they have sang it at the same tempo. If not, they might have sang it a little bit slower, a little faster. I'm not entirely sure, but what we're going to do is type in 128, and we're going to time stretch this hopefully to 128. So you can see here, so if I play you the vocal, there's something here instantly. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I want to cut this, because I quite like that little, I don't know how they made that sound with the mouth, but I quite like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna drag it, and I want to use it on the intro. So what we need to do, it doesn't fully come in. So if I take it to there, boom. So if I take it here, look, and then we play it. And I actually really like that, actually. It neutralizes really well. Just adding that little sound effect, you know, has really done some good. Right, so the vocals obviously here. So oh, there was a real tiny little sound there. Ooh. Right. Right. Ah, there. Right. Right, there we go. Right. So what we need to go to the chorus. Make me come alive, come on and turn me on. Touch me to save my life, come on and turn me on. I feel gonna die, come on and turn me on, turn me on. Right. This is what I wanted, just here. So I'm gonna go and take this little section here, and we're gonna try and utilize a little part of it. So let me just check that I've chopped it right. Turn me on, turn me on, turn me on, turn me on. Turn me on. Right. Come on and turn me on. Come on and turn me on, turn me on, turn me on. Right, and then I think what I'm gonna do is just here. I'm gonna take that. Come on and turn me on, turn me on, turn me on. Right, that's not the best already, as you can obviously tell. So what we need to do is zoom in, and that's where the next bit. Come on and turn me on, turn me on, turn me on. Right, it might not work the best, but we'll try it for now. Right, so let's go from here. maybe. Gonna listen again because there's a little bit of right, there we go. Right, let's have a listen again. Right, I kind of, right, I've got an idea here, so... Yes, like that. Now, it might not sound the best, we might have to maybe play around and work with it, so what we're going to do is add our kicks back in, all the other bits and bobs, all the other fancy bits, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just get rid of that. We'll move that further along because we don't need that just yet, and then what we're going to do is get the claps, put that back in, and now it's bass time, so now we can go ahead and choose a donk. So I'm feeling for a donk, I mean we've got this, so I might try that to start with, and we'll see how we go. I'm not saying it'll work, it might not be sound like it's in the right key. I'm literally not sure. All we can do is try. So what I'm gonna do is just make a little intro, so this will just be where the donk sounds like this. So imagine you're mixing out of another track and then you double drop your donk, and yeah, you know what I mean. So we'll do that, and then we'll literally do this. So essentially we're just creating the same thing again to what we've just created, and then essentially from there on we're just going to keep, it's just the same thing essentially, but there's a bass here instead now, so we have more or less created the same pattern but just with a bass. So now it's going to sound like, so if I just go from here, it's going to sound like this. Right, so that's quite good. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create, essentially, we're going to create another 16 bars from there on. So we're going to do another 16 bars with the bass again, but this time we're going to add another vocal. So that vocal, by the way, before the bass comes in, I might get rid of that because I'm not too keen on it at the moment, but we'll see how we go. So we're going to put all that in. We're going to make another 16 bars. Now essentially what I'll do here is I'll make a bass pattern, but because I don't know what key the bass is going to be in yet, I don't want to do the bass pattern because you know, I might get it in the wrong key. So what I'm essentially going to do is oh, I think I've just done that wrong. I think I just did it one too many. Right, yeah, so essentially instead of getting the wrong bass key, I'm just going to keep it as the straight intro pattern for now. And let's have a look. Yeah, so we need that now. Right, so what we're going to do is, I think it's from here, if I'm rightly to remember, it's from here, so right, so we're going to put this here. There we go. Right, there we go. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this little bit out here. There's like it's like a little, you can hear it like a, I'm not too keen on that, it doesn't sound good. So I'm going to cut that out, and then from here we're going to go into our breakdown. So this is where we'd go into the breakdown itself. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to put our kick effect in. We might change the kick effect, but I'm going to keep the same one for now. So essentially we need another that there. We're going to put one thing I haven't done yet is a reverse crash. Now I've got one here, so I'm going to put a reverse crash here, and I'm going to put another reverse crash there, and I'm going to put one here as well. And then what I'm going to do is put the normal crash in as well on there, especially for the breakdown. You know, you want it on the breakdown, so it's going to sound like this. I've been feeling real low, so I need you to come and rescue me. So there we go. I mean, it would be good, you know, do not get me wrong. You know, if we could have kept that. I've been feeling real low, so I need you to come and rescue me. Make me come. Yeah, it doesn't sound too good, but it might sound alright if we put a few like other sounds in there, because sometimes if you've got a little bit of a bad vocal, you can put sounds over it, and sounds will sometimes, because essentially what's happening is when you remove a vocal out of a track, it sounds weird because you've got little sounds of the track still in the background, and it takes away a bit of the vocal as well. And sometimes if you're putting a sound in that's somewhat familiar, it almost like acts as if you put that sound back in, you know, that you've removed out of the vocal, and it will fix up and make the vocal sound a little bit better. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to lead, and we're going to put our MIDI in, because I've got the MIDI for this. Now there is something on here, I can't remember for the life of me what it is, but I'm just going to get rid of it. But oh, it's that lead. I wrote a lead for A Pretty Green Eyes, and it's I kind of like writing it as a little bit of a bassy sort of tingy-mabobby. So what we're going to do is put this in now. The bad thing about these midis is some of them, like this one, so it's put that sound in. you know, that we got out of the vocal, and then essentially if I go here, you can see there. But here's our bass notes. So this is how I like to work my bass out. So the bass is in a C. So we're in a C. So we could go where is it? Oh yeah, so we could go yeah, so we could do that. So what I'm gonna do now, so if I go ahead and get this, now this is gonna mess up our bass. So yeah, we can do that, but you can see it's like messed up our bass pattern. So we're gonna delete all of this a sec, right down to the last one. So you'll see there's one left, so we'll put that back to like that. We'll trim it down and then essentially we're going to go all the way to there, and then from here is where it would become the full pattern. So where that vocal starts, so where you've got the start of like I guess you'd call it the first verse, is where the pattern had come in. So now it's going to sound like this. It actually doesn't sound that good, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go like that, because I think this might sound better. So it doesn't sound too bad, right? So we're going to head back to the breakdown now, where I put this MIDI in. So there's a part of the MIDI that I actually want, and it's not this. So we've got like, as you can tell here, so if I click here, there's it's not that, it's actually this that we right. So what I need to do is, so we're going to get rid of that. So we want that bit essentially, so everything from there we're going to keep, and then obviously we might change, you know, we might change up the sound of it, obviously. So we'll get rid of that. And then there was another note here. I'm clicking play instead of delete, because I'm an absolute noggin. I had to control and shift, so I had to move the mic away. Actually, yeah, that actually sounds better. Actually, so right. work instead. And then what we've just got to do is delete that again. There we go, like that. Yeah, right. And then it'll that's a little too. Make me come alive, come on and turn me on. Touch me and say my love, come on and turn me on. I'm too young to die, come on and turn me on. Turn me on, turn me on, turn me on, turn me on. So there we go. So that'd sound like that, and that doesn't sound too bad. You know, granted, it could sound better. You know, we'll change up the sounds of the melody. We'll change up the sounds of the other stuff as well. You know, if we find something that sounds a bit better. But at the moment, we've got a little bit of a start to a track. Now, the vocal is not the best. If I could find a better one, I would highly recommend, you know, getting a better one. So I will get a better one if I can find it. But for now, we'll work with this. And this might not necessarily be something that, you know, that we'll release or we'll play in sets. It might just be something that we make just purely for the YouTube channel. And, you know, if we can't get a better vocal or it's just not good enough to release, but it's just something on YouTube that, you know, we're coming live and we're doing it together. Do you know what I mean? So we'll just, in a lot of sense, see how it goes. So we are going to leave it there for, you know, for this episode. I think that has been long enough, and we've gone sort of like just into the breakdown. So you know, next time, you know, in the next day or so, whenever I decide to, you know, to stream again, we'll work on the breakdown. You know, we'll you know, we've got a good start to the tunes. So before we do leave off, we are just going to play everything that we've done so far in the stream, and also I won't touch this you know, when I'm off stream. So everything I do, I'm gonna do it on stream. So let's have a play through the whole thing so far and see what we think. Yes, I don't like that vocal there. We're going to actually get rid of it. So there we go. That is essentially it so far. That breakdown, you know, it's going to change massively because we're going to work on it next time. That was just me basically putting the MIDI in, getting the part of the MIDI I wanted, putting the chorus there. You know, I think I'm going to move the chorus, I'm going to move it all back a bit as well, and have some like strings and stuff coming in first. You know, and just essentially try a few different little things, and you know, to take it from there essentially. But yeah, that is going to do it for the first episode of Making a Remix, the first stream. So like I say, we'll do more of these. We'll build the track. We'll see where we go. I do just want to say before we do leave as well, you might be thinking, like, if anybody watches this and you produce yourself and you're thinking, how come you didn't assign anything to the mixer? Well, I have assigned stuff already to the mixer, so I just had to put the essentially just put the sounds in, because I'd already put some of the sounds in and started playing around before streaming, and then I thought, well, actually, hang on a second, let's do it, you know, let's pick all the sounds on stream. And I didn't want to go too complicated either. I just wanted to essentially just put the sounds in, make the track, and then, you know, worry about all the EQing and, you know, assigning everything and sorting everything out after. So please make sure to like, comment, share, and yeah, we shall see you next time, people. Thank you for listening.